Oh, I don't know about the coolest panel, but you got me. We're going up early today because my good friend is going live shortly. Well, at 9 o'clock with Andy Weir from The Martian. So I don't really want to be going head to head with that, talking about The Martian at the same time. I have got other panelists due to come on. Whether they make it or not, we shall see. I'm going to talk. We'll get straight into it, and I'm going to talk about a couple of my choices for tonight. So, starting with a film that most of you probably won't have seen, but you can see it because I've just discovered it on YouTube, and I've just been watching it this week, and I think I might have seen this movie before. It's entirely possible that I watched it at some point in my childhood because it certainly seems very familiar to me. But it's a 1995 television movie which covers the same topic as Fat Man and Little Boy, and of course, more recently, we had the film from Christopher Nolan covering the bombing of Japan with nuclear weapons, Oppenheimer. This is Hiroshima. This is a 3-hour 20-minute TV movie that covers the same story with a very, very capable cast. It's extremely well told, and I have to say, I mean, I know Oppenheimer's got state-of-the-art sound and all of the rest of those kind of bells and whistles. I actually find this version of the film far more engrossing. I don't know. I like the cast. It's got a really good cast of very solid character actors, including Richard Mazur, who's one of my favourite actors of all time. And it cuts with a lot of newsreel footage from the time. The whole thing is kind of shot in a sepia tone orange. So it's got this very unusual World War II look. But yeah, it's a really good movie. And the whole thing is on YouTube. And if you want to check it out, the link is actually right below. You can see it in the information about this stream. I've actually put the YouTube link in there for you. I'm going to drop it in the chat as well now, so you can take a look at that and see. But yeah, I highly recommend it if you're interested in the subject. Of course, you may have seen all you want to see on the bombing of Japan. Yes, we have started early, Keith. I explained why at the beginning of the stream, and I'll probably be finishing early as well. So that is a film I highly recommend it. So I did go and see Project Hail Mary today. I made sure I got to see it for this stream because we all sort of agreed that we were going to talk about it today. I went to the cinema. I saw it on the big screen, which is, yeah, definitely a film worth seeing on the big screen. For anybody who's been on another planet and hasn't heard about it, it's based on the book by Andy Weir, who also made The Martian. Wrote The Martian. He didn't make The Martian. The Martian was made by Ridley Scott, and stars Ryan Gosling, who's an actor I've followed his career since I saw him in Remember the Titans. And yeah, he's an actor that I really like. Actually, there's a real sincerity about Ryan Gosling in his performances. I always find him very believable. He might not have the greatest range. Like someone, I don't know, I don't want to compare, but I do find him very convincing. I find him a very authentic actor, and he's someone that I can watch quite happily. And maybe I'm doing him a disservice because he has played quite a significant number of very different roles, but he is quite similar in a lot of his performances. That's not to do him a disservice because I think he's great. So the film is about a man who somewhat unwillingly goes into space to try and save the Earth. He's got to identify why a nearby sun is not being consumed by this kind of space virus, I guess we can call it. And he joins 2 other astronauts to go into space to find out what's going on. I don't want to get into too many spoilers, but it doesn't go too according to plan. Gal has arrived. You'll like this film because it's got like a spider in it, but it's made of
That was
rock.
10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. Yeah, no, it's great.
Yeah.
It was nice to see an actual sci-fi film again.
Yeah,
felt quite old school as well, didn't it? All the practical effects and everything. It was
yeah, I mean, I really did like the practical effects, and it was. You're right. There was very few CGI shots of Rocky, who's the alien. I don't know how many spoilers we want to get into, but Ryan Gosling's character meets an alien. Half the film is them sort of learning how to communicate with one another. He's got a very different technology, which is all based on sound and music. I found that was really quite incredible. What now, without getting into spoilers, what did you think of the ending?
It's the same as it is in the book.
Well, I get that, but
nothing to say, really.
Forget the book for the moment, because I haven't read the book, so I can't comment on. I'm guessing that the book is 2 timelines, right? It's the timeline on Earth, and it's the timeline in space. And gradually, when you're reading the book, I'm guessing you jump from one timeline to the other and back. Is that right?
Yeah, kind of. What happens in the book is, I said this in my review, he's a lot less capable in the book as terms of faculties and things like that. He has to do a lot of working out to work out exactly what's going on. In the film, he just goes up a ladder, sees he's in space, and he's like, oh, I'm in space. In the book, he has to work it out. And the computer on the ship doesn't let him have access to anything until he's coherent. So what happens is he has these flashbacks, and these flashbacks represent his memory coming back to him.
Yeah,
I
gathered that in the movie.
Yeah, but in the movie, it always just kind of feels like exposition that's being delivered to the audience, not necessarily to Ryan Gosling, if that makes sense.
Yeah, but I did understand they were flashbacks, but yeah.
Oh no, I got there flashbacks. What I'm saying is he will be struggling with a particular thing in the book. Like there'll be an obstacle that he needs to overcome, and he'll have a flashback that will give him that piece of information, directly, and allow him to overcome that obstacle and then go to the next obstacle as his memory starts fragmenting and putting itself back in, place as he becomes who he is.
Good to have you here, mate.
Hello, mate.
What's up is that we're going up early for reasons I've already explained.
Yeah, I saw that just now, and I was just like, because I saw it on YouTube. I was like, oh, okay. I guess I'll check that out later.
We've got 7 people watching right now, and in 14 minutes we may well have none. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to start early because we are going to be talking about this film, and there's no point going up. No,
I'll be checking that one myself later. Very interesting.
We may even finish early, and I'm sure that's when Mr. Weir was available, and it's the same with me with the industry interviews.
Yeah. He's an American chap, isn't he?
I don't know. I've never met him. I've never seen him being interviewed, so I couldn't say. But whenever my guests say they're available, that's when I do the interview. That's why we had. I don't know if you saw the interview yesterday with Angus Bickerton, visual effects supervisor.
Oh, damn it. No, I meant to watch that one as well. I'm really looking forward to that. I think it's
he was
really
great.
Interesting.
He stayed on for 2 3/4 hours.
Nice.
So we had the visual effects supervisor from Band of Brothers on yesterday, who also more recently has done the Beetlejuice, and a whole load of other movies in between. And
I find all that visual FX stuff like absolutely fascinating. I'd love for you to get an interview with a Foley. That'd be brilliant.
Well, I'm trying to cover all the bases. Angus recommended several other people to us who he thinks would be willing to come on.
Oh, cool.
Some of them effects people, some of them directors. So we're going to work quite hard to get one of the directors of Band of Brothers to come on as well. So we've done quite a bit on that show on this channel. Yeah, but anyway, let's get back to Project Hail Mary. So, well, the reason I asked you what you thought of the ending was I did find the kind of, I don't think it let the film down, but I just found it a bit twee when he goes into the classroom on the beach.
Spoilers.
I mean, I'm getting into major spoilers here.
So this is right at the end of the film, so there's quite hefty spoilers here.
And it just reminded me. It turns round and you get that shot, and I don't want to again, but I suddenly thought we're on Fraggle Rock here. What's going on? And clearly, I don't think they were all puppets. I think most of those were probably CG. I could be wrong. I'm happy to be corrected on that if that's the case.
Yeah, they keep talking about how Rocky was all puppets, and I'm like, I know for a fact he was CG in a bunch of shots. I mean,
he was mostly puppet. There's going to be some stuff you can't. Yeah, you can't get a puppet to do. It's like
also they said there's no green screens, and I'm like, well, they must have had a gigantic projector in a huge, like, planetarium style room,
soundstage or something.
Yeah. I mean, like, how did they? If you was a puppet all the time, how did they do the shots when Rocky's in the pod and it's moving along the floor?
Yeah.
I mean, that would be physically impossible.
Yeah, there's got to be some CGI in there, but I felt that you could tell that there was a lot of physical presence to the film.
Right.
It felt old school in that way.
And I like the movie a lot.
I like the movie a lot. I mean, I'll give my rating in a bit, but it was a good film. I said it before you guys joined me. I like Ryan Gosling as an actor. I've followed his career since Remember the Titans, and as soon as I saw him in that film, he's got a really nice natural charisma about him. You like watching him. You like to find out more about his character, and that was all.
You can do that everyman kind of thing, can't he? You feel like you'd have a pint with him kind of thing. I will say that I don't think he was right for the Ryland Grace that I got from the book, but he was good in the film.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't read the book.
Not read the book, yeah.
Guessing Enzo.
I wish I hadn't, honestly, Lance. I wish I'd gone into the film without having read the book, because I think I would have enjoyed it more.
Yeah.
I think it's a great film. I don't think it's a brilliant adaptation.
Yeah, I don't know. I liked... I mean, Ryan Gosling talks a lot in this one, as opposed to, like, his usual shtick where he just sits quietly and, just makes a face and everyone swoons over him. But yeah, it was good. I also liked the German lady, the head of the operation, the mission lady.
Yeah, Sandra Hutter, was it? I think played that.
Is it Hula? Sandra
Hula, that's it. Hula, yeah, Sandra Hula, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, she's a great actress. I was trying to remember what else I'd seen her in.
She was in that Fall movie, right, where the guy fell off the fucking roof, right? Wasn't that her?
Oh yeah, Anatomy of a Fall. Yeah, she wasn't.
Yeah, that's her? Right. Yeah. She was the wife.
Yeah.
I feel like I've seen her in something at Zone of Interest. That's
the other right.
So yeah, she can act.
Also, that big-breasted AT&T girl was in this movie for a little bit. That was cool.
I would only rely on you, Enzo, to tell me something.
She is she's been in a few movies, but she's the little Russian scientist who's gonna go. Yeah.
Right.
I was like, where do I know her from? Oh, right, she's the one that does AT&T commercials with the big cans, of course.
I mean, I'm glad that the film flashed back to Earth, and you had those sort of narratives. But I would have been quite happy if the whole film was just him and the alien, actually. Maybe some video messages or something like that. But I that could have also worked for me, because that for me was the interesting stuff.
I do feel like in the film it doesn't really get going until he meets Rocky. That's where the film starts.
It's a little bit slow to start with.
It's finding its gears, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I've got to tell you this, guys, and people watching, forgive me, I don't wish to cause offense with anyone. So in the cinema, I sent out a text. There was just me, right up until the film started. And I sent a picture out to several people saying, you know, cinema for one. And I was thinking, this is kind of cool. I've got a whole cinema to myself because I went this afternoon at like midday. And then suddenly I heard these noises, 4 kind of very distinct different noises. One was like, and was like, and there was another one and another one. And it was basically, there was some sort of social worker person with 4 special needs people.
Oh, it wasn't just me then.
And every time, no, you weren't there, but I mean,
I must have also gone on special needs day because I didn't notice, but
yeah,
you know, it didn't affect the performance at all.
So, well, it didn't affect the performance, but it affected my viewing pleasure of the film. And I mean, look, it's great that these people get taken to the cinema and they're able to watch films and stuff.
I'm just picturing Lance like seething at these like retarded kids in the theater.
If you imagine every time Rocky made a noise, then I had a kind of
oh right, okay.
That's actually pretty funny because at my screening there was like there's a lot of old people in my screening, and when I say a lot, I mean like 3 couples. I mean my theater's very bare bones typically. And the old lady sitting behind me had like a little portable oxygen breathing machine for like emphysema, and it actually helped with the movie because there's like you're in a space ship and there's like this like.
I'm listening. Did you
like this like kind of like effect sound going on, this like breathing sound,
Additional soundtrack. It's like that 4X type stuff,
I was like, oh yeah, it's like adding to the ambience. And then also like 45 minutes into the movie, these 3 youngsters, like 2 girls and a guy, like young teenagers or preteens or something came in.
God.
And I swear to God, I think they were like giving each other hand jobs in front of me in the front row. I was like, what the fuck is going on, dude? I swear to God, they were doing some hands and mouth stuff. And then they left. They showed up 45 minutes late. They left 45 minutes early.
Oh, so they basically performed copulation, did the Rocky hand gesture, and then left before.
I don't know. I just noticed that, the little girl's head was in the little boy's lap, and I was just like, oh God, I hope she's just fucking resting.
Oh, bless you, you innocent summer child.
I'm not innocent. They probably were resting, and I'm over here projecting my perversions onto them. I was like, because I remember what I was like when I was a fucking teenager. Ugh.
Yeah, I mean, listen, honestly, it didn't bother me that much. And to be fair to this group, once they got really into the movie, they got quieter and quieter as it went on. But it was like a second soundtrack, and in some ways, I was even more entertained. But but I would have been more annoyed if kids had come in 45 minutes in, talking all the way through, being on their phones, that kind of shit. I can't.
I liked the movie because it was very lighthearted, and it was like one of those like older style PG movies where it's like it's not too kiddie for adults and it's not too grown up for kids, but they do like brush over a lot of like really hardcore stuff. Like I'm assuming like maybe tens of millions of people die on Earth while this mission's happening. Like I'm assuming a huge swath of the population is wiped out due to the climate's change.
Lots of conflict. They say in the book that the Sandra Huller character is going to go to jail for what she's done.
Oh right, okay. So there's some other cool stuff in the book that I know is not in the movie, but like. Apparently, like they nuke Antarctica to like save themselves a few years by like releasing a bunch of water in the atmosphere. Also, the happy ending is cool. I don't want to spoil it, but like the book I read about the me burgers that are in the book, and I don't want to expand on that, but there's like these things called me burgers at the end of the movie, and I was like, oh, that or at the end of the book, I guess, and that's not in the movie, thankfully. It's like the happy ending.
Is a me burger like a reconstructed poop or something?
Well, they explain how Grace is like, able to like stay alive, and they synthesize protein from his own cells. So he's basically eating cloned meat from himself, which is awesome.
It's great.
Cannibal burgers. Yeah.
Unfortunately, my favorite part of the book was actually cut from the movie as well. Was right in that scene. We didn't get a moment where Grace finds out that Earth has been saved because there is a moment where Rocky comes to him and says, our scientists have
Yeah.
been analyzing your star, and we've seen that it has stopped dimming and has returned to its regular brightness. And he breaks down and cries for a little bit, and then just really happy. And it's like a moment where Rocky's like, because it was kind of a running joke, Rocky's like, you're leaking from your face, sad tears. He's like, no, I'm leaking because I'm happy. And I thought we do see a moment of everyone on Earth receiving the tau amoebas, but we don't see the moment of Grace finding out. And I think it would have only taken 20 or 30 seconds. I think that was needed. That was my biggest gripe.
Well, also, I think the ending of the book, like Grace has aged considerably or something, or 15, 20 years or something like that.
Yeah, it's really difficult with relativity because he's been traveling in space so long, and because the differential gravity of Arid weighs on his body differently, but he estimates he's physically around 50, 51 by the end of the book.
Sick.
Right. Which shows we know Ryan Gosling is going to be approximately 32 for the next 50 years. So
going to do Paul Rudd.
How old is he?
I don't know.
45.
He's about
45. Yeah, he's 45.
Okay, so it's my age roughly.
Cool. We were watching a couple years ago. We did the Goosebumps marathon, and he's on the episode "Say Cheese and Die" as a little boy. Goosebumps. It's like early Ryan Reynolds. I think he was, or Ryan Gosling. I mean, I'm sorry, early Ryan Gosling, and he's in.
So I said Ryan Reynolds in my review. I had to go back and edit it out.
I noticed that. Or I do the mix up
what do you
all
want
the
from
time.
us? All right, fuck. I mean, they're all the same dude anyway. Who gives a shit? The Chris Pratt and Chris Pine and Chris Hemsworth and Chris Evans. I don't give a shit. They're just Captain America and Thor and Star-Lord, and that's their names now forever. I don't care.
I mean, I haven't got many criticisms of the film. It was interesting that I posted. I was going to see it today, and so Simon Cox, who's a film director that I've done second unit for on one of his films, and I've been in two of his films. Acting wise, the latest of which is yet to be released. So looking forward to my acting role where I actually get to say damage control parties to the bridge. Great line.
Better than Starfleet Academy already.
I mean, it actually is better than Starfleet Academy. Not a high bar. Just some comments I'll read out. I don't want to put it up on screen because it's from my Facebook account. But Jerry T. Smith, I went into this movie with high hopes. I was very disappointed. Will be interesting to hear your take on this one. And then Mary McIntyre, who's a well-known, she does all the stargazing stuff, an astronomer type lady, also involved in writing science fiction. I absolutely loved it. Simon Cox, I thought it was okay. Underneath which I wrote, not enough pew pew for you, Simon, although he did say Ray Shields at one point. Robert Stainforth, who's a photographer, amazing movie. Nick Samuel, I'm very excited about this one. Mark Kelly, former sub postmaster who's been on my channel many times. I love the movie. So not everybody's saying it's amazing. Some people are a bit disappointed with it. I don't know. I mean, I get the impression
again, it's always the book readers that are always the biggest nitpickers. And then also, I do think we live in this like you have high expectations. Everyone's like when you have high expectations, are you expecting like a good movie or like one of the greatest movies ever made? I mean, usually the greatest movies ever made just kind of sneak up on you,
Yeah, that's agreed.
You watch this random
movie. You can look forward to
movie
something too much.
Yeah. I do think there's a lot of nitpicking. I do like the because people complaining, like Aaron saying it could have been a longer, like a show or a series, maybe a 3-hour movie again.
I do think it would have made a good TV series. I think it would have made a really good TV series.
See, I was talking because this made me want to rewatch Contact because I love these encyclopedic films, like all the Scorsese movies or most of the Scorsese movies, like Goodfellas, Casino, Contact, Forrest Gump. These are movies that because usually, what writers do nowadays is they take their stupid time and they'll make like a 10-hour miniseries and it's like it drags. But like, if you make these like really dense, like Goodfellas, there's so much information crammed in this 2.5-hour movie. It's like what we call like an encyclopedic film. Like every scene, like rewatching Contact, I realized like it's actually quite hokey and quite scripted. Like you can tell like why, you know, it's such a movie, you know what I mean? Like they cram everything in such a way that it feels like a movie, you know, because there's only one way to tell this big of a story in this amount of time, and you have to do this kind of like Wolf of Wall Street is another great example. Like it's very like rapid fire, like every scene is giving you lots of information, like backstory and lore and characters, and it's all being crammed into every scene. And the idea is like they trimmed the fat. They probably did multiple passes on the screenplay to get it, you know, just right, you know, because these encyclopedic films are quite an undertaking. Yeah, Project Hail Mary is like kind of another one. You know, there's a lot of going on in the past, in the present, in the future, and
absolutely. I mean, if you remember correctly, I said when I read the book, I said I don't think this is going to be as easy to adapt as The Martian was.
Yeah,
right,
unfilmable movie.
Wait, when did you read the book? Did you read it after you knew there was a film announcement, or did you read it back in? Okay.
No, I read it after. I think the first time I saw the teaser trailer last year, I was like, oh my god, I want to, because I love sci-fi. I love sci-fi films. And I love high concept sci-fi films that are smart and make you think and stuff like that. And I thought, well, I'm going to go and read the book, because I watched The Martian first and then I read the book. And I thought that was a brilliant adaptation, where all they left out of The Martian really was some of the nitty-gritty science, you know, the mathematics and the nuts and bolts. The main thrust of the story was there.
Journey from Acidalia Planitia to the Schiaparelli crater, where he crosses Mars Vallis, that takes forever in the book, and it's a very beautiful and short sequence in the film.
Yeah, and you know, it was a really good adaptation. I thought they did a really good job. And when I saw Project Hail Mary, I was like, look, this is going to be great. It's Andy Weir. I haven't read Artemis, but you know, I'm sure it'll be great. So I grabbed the book, read it, loved the book, because I thought I saw the trailers and already I could see the comedy in it. And I thought, Lord and Miller, the Lego guys, like, And I read the book, and there is comedy in the book, but there's not as much as there is in the film. The film in places, I mean, Ryan Gosling said one of the actors that he was channeling in his performance, was Charlie Chaplin, which makes sense with, you know, the physical comedy and the pratfalls and things like that he gets through in the film. And I feel that combined with the fact that we don't get to see him doing his thing, his working out and his analysis work that he does in the book, actually makes him look quite clueless in places. I don't know what you felt about that, Anna. He comes across a little bit more bumbling, I think, than he does in the book.
I would agree. I liked the comedy, but I feel it was more heavily weighted, I'd say like 70-30 to comedy serious than I was expecting it to be, and then it is in the book. The book is very, very funny, and people should absolutely read it. But of course, a lot of it is happening inside the mind of Ryland Grace, and that is difficult to translate visually on screen. But they lean like more into the physical comedy, to be sure.
Yeah. Well, you even get in this first part of the book, the first, say, maybe nearly the third of the book, you get that kind of back and forth between Grace and the four-armed claw machine thing, don't you? It's very much a presence in the film, in the book, sorry, and not so much in the film. You're not alone, Aaron, don't worry. But we're going to carry on talking anyway. So come back to us later.
Yeah, I get it. I'm going to catch that VOD later.
Yeah, I'm going to watch that later for sure. And I feel like he could have, whereas Grace's companion becomes Rocky later in the film, I kind of thought they maybe could have done more with the machine that, you know, keeps thwarting him. No, you can't go through the hatch. No, we're not going to let you do this. And I felt that could have been a choice that they could have made rather than going for all the comedy. I
was hoping for a comedy moment with the tube stuck up his arse that I noticed he had when he
it's in the book. Kind of a comedy moment in the the book, as of course he has
I figured it was
stuck up his penis and has to rip it out, and it's like, oh, that's terrible.
Oh my god. And that just that really has made me cross my legs.
You get this machine like this claw, because he does describe it, I think, doesn't he, just as a claw or a hand or an arm or some description, trying to mother him and do stuff like that, because he's much less capable than he appears physically, or at least cognitively, than he is in the book. In the book, he doesn't even work out who he is for the first couple of chapters, I think.
Yeah,
right.
And
right.
it's coming back in pieces, which is much like the structure of the film as well, where it will switch back between, memories basically leading up to the point that he ends up on the ship, which of course works really well with the plot of like if I can say, the big spoiler of the character arc he goes on, where he finds that because he's been believing this time, he must have, agreed to go on this mission, and then learns towards the end of the book that he was forced to go on, that he wasn't able to make that courageous sacrifice for humanity. And that informs his character and really leads to a wonderful moment of he makes an even bigger sacrifice, not to die, but he receives the chance to survive, to go back to his world, and decides to go and save both his friend Rocky and Rocky's entire world, Arid. And so even though the choice was made for him the first time, he has gained enough and grown enough to make the choice the second time, which is why I will come for anyone saying, this isn't a very masculine film. I don't like how cowardly Ryland Grace was. I don't think this was why can't Hollywood have more masculine men in action roles? Because I don't see what is more masculine and uplifting and traditional to say than a story of a not brave man thrust into circumstances that force him to find his bravery and to put aside cowardly things. It's normal to feel fear. Everyone does, but he can rise to the occasion.
I like that twist in the story. It was really powerful.
I swear to God, I saw someone saying, well, the movie's pretty good, except it does have some woke elements. Like the only kids that interact at the school in the school classroom are black girls. It's like, Jesus Christ, dude. Is that all you're fucking seeing? Women of color are the only ones.
I mean, come on, man.
Also, he's chalked down by a bunch of women in the beginning. All of us, he's a subordinate to a bunch of women, female officers that are superior.
No, and this is a film where the hero is a white dude, or straight white dude again. I mean, it felt very old school to me.
I've been seeing that too. Like, movies like this and War Machine are an example why we need more white straight males in leads. It's like, why the fuck you put War Machine up here with this?
This is the opposite of War Machine, man.
War Machine sucks my balls. That's what she's talking about.
When I'm talking about slop, I'm talking about War Machine. This is
we had the real War Machine film with that footage the other day.
that War Machine movie is like one of the highest viewed films on Netflix ever.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah,
and I'm hoping that this does equally well, Lance. Because the thing is, you could take kids to see this film, couldn't you? Is there anything in this film you couldn't take for kids?
No, my brother's kids, my nephews went to see it.
What is it, 12? 12A over here?
War Machine is a passive watch, That's the thing about the streaming content. That's the thing why you would take a book and turn it into 10 episodes, 10-hour-long bullshit, because you can watch it passively. You don't need to pay attention and take mental notes, like you do with one of these like big encyclopedic films. When you take your time and stretch out the pacing and slow everything down, they want everything to be passive so you can, vacuum and do the dishes and look at your phone while you're watching this, because they'll know that you'll turn it on. And War Machine, I'm sure a lot of people are watching.
There's no wonder in War Machine. Like the shot, Lance had it up earlier, but the shot where he goes outside to analyze the Tower Amoeba, and you've got that green planet. That is a beautiful piece of cinematography, and it's not the only one in this.
No.
And the way the scene in the book, that exact scene is written, feels like the cinematography that Lord and Miller managed for that scene. That was one that stood out to me as well. This is exactly as I pictured it, and it's exactly as it's written, which is amazing that they can translate written word, which was so vivid already, because Andy Weir is pretty great at that, to such a good scene.
Why did they set off a nuclear bomb in Antarctica in the book? What happened
because to offset the global cooling.
Yeah, it releases a load of gases if you nuke Antarctica, basically.
And they also have to pave the entire Sahara Desert in solar panels in order to make enough astrophage farms to make the 200 million pounds of, or 200 million kilos of fuel that they need to get out there.
That was all very glossed over in the film. There's also only you need a genetic marker to survive the coma.
And even then it's not guaranteed.
No, that's it. Yeah. And that's why, again, Ryan Gosling's character has to kind of do it. They missed out.
Although they also point out in the book, 2 out of 3 not surviving the coma sleep that they have to do is a very bad luck. Like they weren't expecting such a high mortality rate.
Well, I mean, do they explain in the book why the other 2 don't survive?
It's risky.
Really risky. It's risky procedure.
It happens.
Cryostasis. That's something you never see in sci-fi movies. Cryostasis. Oh, everyone's fine. The idea that like, you know, everyone comes out of cryostasis, you got 20 people and then all the tubes, and it's like, 2 of them died as expected. You know, that would be like this dark, the darker, more grim dark stuff, you know? I would love to see
there's limits to what you can do to the human body, and what they're trying to do here exceeds what you can do to the human body, so they just don't make it.
Sure. I mean, I tried not to have a wee during this film. I was not successful, and I could tell we were getting near the end, and I was like, "Oh fuck, man, I'm gonna have to go." I know what
part did you miss?
I'll go.
We can fill you in.
I'll go as soon as we cut back to Earth, right? So we cut back to Earth, and it's the scene where he's basically saying, "No, I don't want to go." And I thought, well, I get what the rest of this scene's going to be about. He's not going to go. So I legged it to the toilet, came back just in time to catch him running to the fence and then him getting the injection. And he actually legged it out the room. I caught that. So I guess, you know, I just missed a big extended outburst, but I already knew once you said I didn't. Look, I'm not going. Okay, that's the twist. Got it. Got the point of the scene. Dashed to the loo. But, oh, man, so annoying. Actually, also, not only that, when I got to the gents' toilets, there was a fucking code on the door.
Oh, no.
Not explained to me when I arrived, by the way. And I was like, not a code. It was like, what do I live here? You know, so I was like, ran back to the hot dog stand. What's the code for the gents? Whatever they said. I'll run back, put it in. Thank God it worked. And
it's like when you're driving home and the closer you get to home, all of a sudden your bladder kicks in. You're like, oh, I got it. It's like your body knows, like, oh, the movie's wrapping up. It's time to activate.
Yeah. It's funny how your body knows that. But I was really impressed with I like the ship, the design of the ship as well. Really good.
Both ships.
Yes, the scene where he goes on board Rocky's ship is not in the book. So I was very interested in the way that it was all like set up like a harp with different harmonics and resonant cables. And I thought, oh, that's clever. That wasn't in the book. You've done well there to make that.
That was one I agree with. I'm like, yeah, that should have been in the book, because that would be what anyone would dream to do, is to see the alien spaceship.
Yeah, it'd be pretty cool if I could go on your ship. That was a good line. And I thought, okay, we're going into Close Encounters special edition here. Let's see what's in there.
Yeah, they even do the Close Encounters song.
I know, but also Rocky knows it.
Well, no, he mimics it, but the point is, like, of course, if I ever met an alien, like, why wouldn't you just see if he does it back?
No, you missed that. I've got the soundtrack to that, and I know that whole concerto piece off by heart. When he mimics the first bit, the da 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 da, and he does it back to him, and then Rocky does the next bit, which happens in the film before Ryan's character shows him. If you know that piece really well, so he must have seen it. He must have seen the movie somehow. Whether they got access to Voyager or I don't know. So is it in the book? Is it that they've never heard of us before, or that
they haven't?
No, they haven't. No,
so
they're not aware of us. They're investigating.
That's an Easter egg joke. That's an Easter egg joke.
For the same reason that we are. Their son's dying. They've gone to find out why this one isn't.
Yeah, because he does that bit that comes afterwards. And I spotted it straight away. It's if you really know the soundtrack to that Close Encounters, you'll spot it.
I mean, the film does. Sorry, Anna.
Go ahead.
No, you go. You.
One thing I thought that was oddly de-emphasized, especially since the beginning of the film emphasized it so heavily, is kind of the reason why Grace is teaching at a middle school instead of, working as an academic researcher, is because he wrote this controversial thesis about how the Goldilocks zone, the idea that, certain ingredients need to be just right. You need to be just this distance from a sun. You need to have, oxygen, nitrogen, and all of these different elements, and especially water present to have organic life. He said it was kind of nonsense and that it's not required at all, and also insulted a lot of people. And that was really brought up at the beginning of the film. And then, of course, there was the whole big thing where he's investigating the astrophage and finds out they're mostly water, which is also in the book. But the justification wasn't really emphasized in the book, where it's like, once he meets Rocky and all of the species of the Iridians, they have very little organic material in their body. Their blood is essentially mercury, and they are not water-based life forms at all in the same way that we are. And so his research is actually justified. And it was really strange because I was waiting for the moment where there's like at least a little explanation of Rocky's biology. And it never really came. And so I'm not surprised. I wouldn't have been surprised if they'd taken that out entirely, because they simplified quite a lot. But why emphasize it twice? First with your thesis is what made you get rejected by the academic community, but come with me because we want you to check out this life form. Second, with the big disappointment of, astrophage actually is mostly water, so the Goldilocks zone is real, isn't it? And then the third, it needs that final step of like the justification of, Rocky justifies everything Grace was studying. I thought that was really strange that they didn't have that resolution.
Project Ave Maria.
Yeah, that's interesting. So this got retitled in another country, Project Ave Maria. Love that.
Yeah, also, Rocky doesn't eat like he does in the film.
That's
one very small change.
He's very, very embarrassed
yes.
By how disgusting it is in the film. In the book, in the book.
He sticks food up his rock anus. That's what happened in the movie.
Yeah, in the movie, it is much the same in the book, but it's like it's a cultural thing, is that they're very embarrassed about it because they basically open a stoma that they also excrete out of. And so they excrete first and then put food in it and then kind of go into a coma for a while. And so unlike sleeping, where it's like they always have to have someone watching them culturally to protect from predators, and it's now just a cultural practice, they eat very privately.
Right. I see.
The character of Rocky was good. I mean, Rocky was as I imagined him, I would say, 100%. Whereas Ryle and Grace was not quite the way I pictured him in the book. Rocky was pretty much spot on, I thought.
No, I thought he looked pretty similar to you, Al, when he woke up.
That's the closest I'm ever going to get to Ryan Gosling, so I'll take it.
Yeah. But it's proof that Ryan Gosling could play you in a movie about your life. He just has to have that.
Which is inevitable, let's be honest. Yeah. I wonder how he is with spiders.
Well, indeed. Did anyone see the trailer? There was a so there were quite a few trailers with this, and one of them was that there was a new trailer for the Grogu Mando film. It was a trailer
I saw a trailer that seemed like it wasn't that there was something. It seemed like it was the old trailer. Didn't seem like I saw a new.
No, the trailer I saw I hadn't seen before. It didn't have the shot of the exploding AT-AT in it, and I had a lot of the other shots that I've seen, but it had
so
like
maybe I felt the same way, because I remember seeing the trailer and be like, this looks like a new trailer, and then it played and I was like, oh no, it's the same trailer. But I think there were so if it is a new trailer, it's only slightly different.
Yeah, I saw one that just seemed like it had a couple of extra shots, nothing else.
Right. No, this trailer I saw was very different. And because I didn't know he got the Seacrest back, and there was like every gag that there was with Grogu was basically in this trailer.
Are you sure you just haven't seen the old trailer yet?
It had like 40 Grogu jokes in it, like literally like 40 Grogu joke moments. So that must be most of the film. But you know what? When I finished watching that trailer, I was like, that film actually could be all right. Could be quite fun. I might be wrong. We could be straying into Lance Acolyte territory here, but actually, I thought it looked all right. I thought, this could be quite a laugh. This could be.
I think it depends how much of that little green bastard you can put up with.
Well, indeed. Indeed.
Honestly.
Drew Gordon can't put up with much of him. He thinks Grogu Must Die should be the title. Yeah, maybe. I might feel that way after
I think it's out while I'm in Japan. I don't think I'm going.
So you'll have
I gotta tell you,
watch it.
if the title was Grogu Must Die, I think more people would be way more interested in this. Like, what? Even if you like Grogu, you'd be like, no way.
But I also saw a trailer.
I don't think you should take time off your Japan vacation to go see the Mandalorian.
No, you should watch it in Japanese and not understand what's happening and see how much.
It might make more sense.
Watch it in Japanese could be.
It'll probably just be the English movie with Japanese subs, honestly. So
you can get both. They'll have the dub out the Japanese dub out the day it's released.
Really?
So you'll be able to choose which one you want.
Yeah, if I was to watch a film in Japan, it'd be the audience I wouldn't be able to get around because they are deathly silent.
Let's give Hail Mary a rating out of 10, people. What are your scores?
Taken as a film, just a film, 9 out of 10.
Yeah,
taken as adaptation of the source material, 7 out of 10.
Okay, all right, well, that's fine. Anna,
I'd give it also a 9.
Okay, Stupenzolicious.
Yeah, I was like leaning. I said an 8.5 when I saw it. Right. Well, on my show, it's good.
All right.
Believe the hype. The hype is real.
I want everybody to see this film. I think it's a film for everybody. I really do.
I'll give it the same as, and so I give it an 8.5. The ending caught me by surprise. I thought I was certain going into the film that one of the two of them was not going to make it. I was kind of expecting that ending. Even when he went back after Rocky, I thought he was going to die, or he was going to find Rocky was dead at one point.
I was
already.
Pretty upset about that. I was like, "Oh, whoa, this is fucked up. I don't like this." Even though I was expecting it, but it's one of those things where they didn't kill the little doggy. They didn't kill the little mascot, the comedic sidekick. Which is that's a good thing. It had a very it was like I said, it was a very happy ending for a movie. They brushed over a lot of like really hardcore stuff that happens on Earth and elsewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And it's
his moment earlier in the film, doesn't he? He has that moment where he's dead, not dead, but you know what I mean. That had already happened, so I don't know if they could really.
That I actually thought he was dead after that. Anna's got connection issues, but she'll try and get back on. So I also saw the trailer, and it's the second time I've seen this trailer for Fuse, which is from the director of Hell and High Water, and I really do enjoy that guy's films. Did you guys also see the trailer for Fuse with?
No,
you didn't. No. So Enzo, have you seen the trailer for Fuse?
Nope. My movie theater only plays like 2 or 3 trailers before movies and no commercials. So it's another.
I've got He-Man Masters of the Universe. That's
I got that trailer.
We'll come on to the He-Man trailer in a minute. Well, I saw the trailer for Fuse. Right. Okay. So you guys haven't seen it. So let's play it because you know how much I love getting copyright. Let's do that. Let me just see. Yeah, this is right. I don't want to show too much of it. Right. Okay. There we go. I think that'll do. Let's go from there. I actually think I quite like the look of this. And it's a bit of a Die Hard kind of plot, but I like the look of it.
We've got an old bomb in central London.
World War II. Looks like a 1,000-pounder. I'll see you on the dance floor.
Could it blow any minute?
Theoretically, yes.
This area is being evacuated.
Is there anything out there?
There's nothing going on out here.
We're on.
That's just all this was about, a fucking robbery.
It's ticking.
Clear! Hard cover! No! Go, go, go!
Mom, look at this. I shouldn't be there.
Active message. It appears there's been a massive bank job on Edgware Road.
Repeat, massive bank job.
We've just been working with sewer boys. Got the stench to prove it. It's 7 years. What did you think was gonna happen?
What do we think? Who's up for that?
I have questions. Why are they spelling fuse with a Z? That's the first one.
Well, obviously, because it's cooler, dude. I mean, that's just like that. Or it could be an Americanism. I don't know.
That's the first one. I'm guessing the name.
We spell fuse with an S in the US as well. I think with the Z refers specifically to a military application, but I'm not sure.
That would make sense. Secondly, this looks like it was destined for streaming. I'm surprised it's got. I don't think it gets a theatrical release without Aaron Taylor Johnson's name attached. But I also do think he should be the next James Bond, 100%.
It is going to the cinema. Funnily, it's interesting that you say that about Aaron Taylor Johnson for Bond. I'd like Theo James for Bond, and they're both in this.
Yeah, I saw they were both in it, and he has been talked about, hasn't he? So
yeah, he
I mean,
has.
for me, it was when I saw Bullet Train. I saw Bullet Train, and I was like, yeah, Aaron Taylor Johnson, he could do Bond easily.
You know something? I still haven't seen that movie.
Good film. Good film.
Yeah. I like the look of this. I think, it looks like a good, solid action movie. We haven't had a good, solid action movie set in London in quite a while. And I like the idea of a bank robbery taking place during this sort of false bomb threat. And the director of Hell and High Water, this guy really knows how to direct action. David Mackenzie, good director. And I think I've seen most of his movies. Let's have a quick look, because he did Hell and High Water, Starred Up. I've got that in my DVD collection. Great film. Under the Banner of Heaven, you can currently watch on Disney. Do you know what? That completely got by me that he directed that. Outlaw King, I think, is currently on Netflix, and that's a good movie. And also, again, good action. But as I said, I really like Hell and High Water. Great film, Hell and High Water, if you haven't seen it. So I think that would be worth watching. I do like a good action flick. I like an action flick where the action is believable. So this is the Sky original, but it is getting a cinema release in the UK. I don't know when it will be out on streaming. It probably won't be that.
Well, it says April 20. It says April 3rd there, but the other one said April 24th. So I have no idea.
Anna straight in with her archaeological facts. Weak spelling difference is apparently complexity. A fuse is a simple burning cord, while a fuse is a sophisticated mechanical or electronic device designed to initiate detonation. And as the bomb is underground in the film, that counts as archaeological find. So
absolutely. I've never seen the Z version though.
Yeah.
And it's a World War II bomb, so I'm not sure how sophisticated it is.
No,
the Z version was in
where I excavate in Japan is we get M13 incendiary bombs that come out because the place where I was firebombed extensively during World War II. And so even when it's just part of the casing, you have to call in a bomb squad to make sure that it's not more, because we're not going to dig at it to find out.
Yeah, I think looks pretty good. Again, there was the trailer for June 3.
Yes, I did see that one as well. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it does look good. I'm looking forward to it. When it comes out, as long as I don't screw the pooch with it, then and only then I will go out and buy a Blu-ray set of all 3 films. I'm sure.
All I will say is that what they've done with Charlie's character, could derail the whole film. We'll have to wait and see.
It could, it could. I saw a shot where it looked like she's going to kill Paul.
I gotta go real quick. I'll be right back.
Okay, no problem. And if they do that in the film, that's going to really screw the pooch, man. So I will be very, very, very nonplussed if that's the case. Now, homework for next week on the Nielsen ratings. We're not wrapping up just yet, but is a film that's actually screening now for the first time, and it's about a scandal that occurred in the UK with one of our most famous newsreaders. As a BBC newsreader, so once again, someone dodging the BBC. Sorry, that's the wrong screen. Let me just readjust. It was called Hugh Edwards. Martin Clunes is playing him in a Channel 4.
Jesus, is that Martin Clunes?
It's Martin Clunes. He looks like him. He's playing former BBC newsreader Hugh Edwards in the original Channel 5 drama one-off television movie, Power, the Devil of Hugh Edwards. This is the true story of basically how this newsreader, and he was in everyone's home, and I don't mean literally in a Jimmy Savile, but he was like, that was a face that you would trust, that guy.
Yeah, it'd be like Trevor McDonald, wouldn't it?
You trust that guy to look after your dogs. You know what I mean? Yeah, like Trevor McDonald. He was a staple in every British home. You put the news, it's Hugh Edwards on, because he had a great voice, he had a really good booming Welsh voice, great alliteration and diction, and then he got caught with his hands in the cookie jar. I don't want to spoil the plot for my American guests, so I'd rather you guys just go in and watch it blind. But that's we're going to discuss that in detail, because I like my true story stuff. So we're going to discuss that in detail next week and see what it's like. It's a very, very different role for Clunes, so I'll be very interested to see.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah, interested. Very interested in that one.
So, Anna, what have you got for us this week?
Oh, I'll give you an archaeological fact if you want, the one I alluded to last week about South Africa. This is the one that I think you could consider.
As well as a film pick, that'd be good.
Yeah, Grant, Lance could consider doing a screenplay for this one, because this is a really big archaeological discovery. It's in 2013 and then excavated in 2015, is the Rising Star Cave in South Africa. And Lance, if you're able to pull up a Google image, you'll see one of the first results will be a map of the cave, which is a really intense cave system. And it's got a couple of really narrow crawls in it. And so I was in university at the time, there was a call sent out to there had been this discovery made. A couple of spelunkers had this. There's a well-known cave system where it has a really tight area called the Superman's Crawl, where it's so called because it's like 13 by 15 centimeters. It's a really, really small, tight gap. And so you have to be really slender, and you have to, in order to stretch out your shoulders, you have to do a Superman pose to make your shoulders go sideways to get through this. And then you come out into a chamber, a dolomitic chamber called the Dragon's Back, which has a jagged structure up. And then some spelunkers in 2013 went up and then down a 12-meter shaft, and they found another chamber, the Dina Deli chamber, that was full of hominid bones. And what it turned out to be was Homo nadeli, is a previously unknown human, well, perhaps a human ancestor, but a hominid pretty close to Homo sapiens, but not Homo sapiens, and perhaps our ancestor or perhaps another evolutionary branch. But this is one of the most and best. Yeah, look at that. You see the Superman's Crawl, and then the Dragon's Back, and then down that shaft into the Dina Deli chamber. Yeah. And so there was a call sent out. They wanted small female spelunkers who were archaeologists from anywhere in the world to come in and to excavate this cave in South Africa. And so, do you
qualify as an Oompa Loompa, Anna?
I do not spelunk at all. So I saw that call go out because, as an archaeology student still, but I was not certainly going to also, hi, MT. I certainly wasn't going to, volunteer to go in, but they eventually selected 6 women who were known as the the underground astronauts. You can get a Wikipedia page for them. And they went and they excavated this Dina Deli chamber and found it went in one fell swoop, one of the best represented examples of any hominid ancestor. And usually all you get are teeth or craniums because they're so dense and they get more fossilized more easily. But this time you have tons of postcranial bones of at least 15 individuals. And one of the big questions is, why was this is such a difficult cave to get into, and it hasn't changed that much geologically in about 200,000 years, because it's getting close to.
Oh no!
They don't want us to find the location of the cave. Anna's audio has been intercepted by nefarious forces. Welcome, Admiral T.
Hello, we were just talking about my distant relative there, right?
Yeah. There is also
what, Hugh Edwards?
Yeah, that and the guy in that cave who probably still owes me money, or maybe maybe he died before I had to pay him back. But could it have been such a difficult cave because they're clever as shit and they're almost monkeys, and like this would give them a huge advantage? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
there's a really great blog about this for people that are interested. This is just a sequel to The Descent waiting to happen, by the way.
With a slightly happier ending, I might say. There's been a documentary, but there's never been a dramatization. You know, I think it's ripe grounds because you could do something kind of like a dual story, is like exploring possible reasons of like, how did the Dina Deli how did these bodies end up in here? Were they chased by a predator? Did they live in this cave? But it's unlikely that they would go that far back. Is it a burial ground where they would deliberately take the bodies through that Superman's crawl and put them in? And then kind of the parallel of these 6 young women, and then Lee Berger, the archaeologist supervising everything. And it's really cool. There's lots of potential for a cool story.
Okay, well, possibly.
Sorry to keep dropping out. For some reason, my internet's awful today.
No, I think it's the people who've got the rights to this story are trying to cut us off from making a film about it first. Do you have a film pick this week?
No, I've shared an archaeological fact. I'll let others speak.
Technically, 2 facts. Okay, Critic Al, what's your pick for this week?
So I've got a TV series this week. It's a
fine.
sci-fi series, which nobody will be surprised by. And it's an animated sci-fi series.
Did you say vampire series?
It's not a vampire series, no.
Oh, okay, good.
We can talk about Luc Besson's Dracula if you want. I don't know if you did that last week when I wasn't here.
No, we talked about that before. Let's go for it.
So this is a series called Scavenger's Reign. It's basically it's a HBO series. It got cancelled after 1 season, and I'll explain why in a minute. But it's quite an interesting idea behind it. Basically, you've got a ship that's had a disaster, and the survivors have to escape into pods onto this planet, and they're all separated. So they're not all together. They're all doing their own thing. It's got a kind of 70s style art to it. It's
I've
kind of
seen
Mobius-like.
Do carry on, but I have seen it. And
it's got some really interesting ideas around the ecology and the biology, and also the flora and the fauna on this planet, and what they do, and how they interact with each other, how it forms an ecosystem, and now the humans that have come down off of this ship react with that. It is very imaginative, and it's got some great ideas. Unfortunately, in my opinion, it didn't quite pull them off. The meat isn't there. It's like we've got all these great ideas about all these different things that could happen on this planet, but they didn't seem to have the story writing prowess to make it all work as a cohesive thing. I do also have to say that you will notice that there is a lot of men bad, woman good in this. All of the women to see are capable, intelligent, independent, all that kind of stuff, and all the blokes tend to be very weak and useless and always causing problems.
These things are absolutely horrible.
Oh, the space frog. Yeah, space frog's a bit weird, really, isn't he?
Yeah. Well,
there was some really weird stuff I've just not seen tried before. And even though I had issues with it, I would have watched the second season had it got commissioned.
Oh,
but it didn't.
absolutely.
It got cancelled after 1.
Absolutely would have watched the second season.
Scavenger's Reign, dude. I was talking this shit up so hard, like 2024, whenever it came out, man.
Yes, Benzo, you were the first person to mention it to me, and to be fair to you, you were the reason I watched it, because you constantly were saying, dude, have you seen it? Dude, have you seen it? And I was like, okay, I'm going to watch it. I'm going to watch
And
it.
I was the same way last year with Common Side Effects, which was these people and Mike Judge. That show was also great.
Oh, right. Okay. I'll have a look at that. Because there was definitely bits of this that I thought were really good. It didn't quite manage to make it more than just good ideas for me, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's just a trippy show. We talked about it at great lengths on Gooch's show back in the day, and it's definitely it's like Miyazaki kind of.
Yeah, it's like a little bit of Aeon Flux in there and stuff like that, and it's just
It is shitty. There's no second season, because I feel like it's just getting started, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would love to.
A lot of the visuals are definitely Miyazaki, like especially Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind. A lot of
very
precise,
but also like tonally very Miyazaki. Like it's just a lot of strange serenity,
Mm-hmm.
I've got one of these in my garden. I'm not sure if it's still alive though. But listen, I've got to disagree slightly out. I absolutely loved it. I didn't care that it didn't all make sense. I was so into it because it was so different, and I just loved that it took so many risks. It was beyond weird in places, but that kind of made it really cool. I think the thing that let it down and what could have really made it work is if it had got a second season, and in that we'd kind of got the story we were looking for, and you would get some explanation for some of the things maybe from a more of a scientific point of view as the humans began to get to grips with how it all works. But I still loved it. I love the characters and the robot especially. It was good, really good. I'd get this on Blu-ray actually, and may well at some point. I really like this art style of animation as well, where you've got such a great depth of field with the art itself. There's always a background that's slightly out of focus, then one in front of that, then you've got your main sort of shot image, then there's more stuff in the foreground, and sometimes there'll be something moving past that as well. It's really rich in detail.
I love the design of it. I didn't like the animation on the people. I thought it was very, very
Common
chunky.
Side Effects is also really good. I love it, but the people are very strange character design wise, and you get over it, but like they take such great they do a lot of detail in all the backgrounds and creatures and stuff, and then the humans are very like minimalist and flat and not sexy enough. If you listen to Price of Reason, that was like his common gripe with every episode when we talked about it the whole season. He's like, I just don't like how the black girl, she's just not attractive enough, and
I don't need to be
voice bang on there.
I don't need to be gooning over the characters, but I did feel that the characters were very like the angry black lesbian was very angry black lesbian. And I was just like,
we were talking about how it did have like a woke-esque kind of elements in it. It was still a good show though.
It was still good. It was one of the few that managed to have both and get away with it. And
I love sci-fi.
Did you see this?
I did not see this show. No, I'm sorry. I'm not ready on this one. It looks pretty cool.
It's also not a very long watch. That's another good thing.
12 episodes, half hour each.
Yeah.
It looks a lot like certain segments of the movie Heavy Metal, doesn't it?
Yes, Heavy Metal.
That last segment of Heavy Metal where they play Black Sabbath. This looks a lot.
It hasn't got the flying boob woman in it though. Just to so you don't.
There are boobs. There are in it. That's what you want. But
they were so close to having a workable show. They just needed the flying boob.
Well, Admiral T, welcome back to the channel. Good to have you here on
for having me.
Nielsen ratings, and if you want to come on Tuesday going forwards, that'd be great. So you'd be welcome. But on that basis, do know that occasionally homework is issued, and the only person who's allowed to ignore those homework instructions is my co-host Enzo. But everyone
I'm not
else
allowed to. Just Lance has just come to terms that I'm just not going to probably watch what he tells me to sometimes.
Anyway, we're going to talk about this show next week. It is only a movie, so it's only 88 minutes. It's not a huge commitment.
That's good.
It's a true story of the downfall of a very famous British news presenter. It actually
I still can't believe that's Martin Clunes, man.
I know Martin Clunes is playing him. It's airing now. It's actually airing right now as we're talking. on Channel 5, so that's why we can't do it until next week.
I've got a question about Channel 5 actually, because I'm not familiar with it. It says there that it's available until, what was it, March 30, like March something 2031. And
Yeah,
so
that's right.
it seems, was
very
it made
optimistic
for
of them.
them?
I'm not sure mankind will still be here in 2031. But I like
But do they
I like their
plan to
optimism.
only have it on their streaming service for a couple of years, or does it go somewhere else, or can you just not find
I'm guessing
it
that's how long
on
they've got the rights to the product
Yeah.
for.
I'm guessing it's just a 5-year
And then after
standard.
that, it'll be available
contract.
for Amazon or someone else to buy it and stick it on their channel, because that you'll see that happening quite a lot with back catalogue. That Amazon just brought up Netflix just brought up a whole load of back catalogue stuff, and I can't remember who's got the entire show of ER now.
Netflix, because my missus is watching it.
Yeah, well, I'm debating watching it from day one. I mean,
I'll tell you what, never watched
that
it back
was
in the
my
day.
favourite show for a long time, and I tried to get a job writing on it. I actually took on an agent, especially their job was to get me a job on ER. That was the reason I took them on, and they were shit and never happened.
I never watched it back in the day, but with my missus watching it, I catch up odd episode here and there. And apart from seeing George Clooney when he was actually kind of young, it's a bloody good bit of TV, that is.
That's really well done. Really well done.
There was a Law and Order channel that I was watching not long ago where I just had Law and Order playing like randomly on a TV, and that show's fucking so silly and baffling and
it's become it started off really well, and then when that actress, who by the way she debuted in ER, when she kind of she's got quite a lot of influence over the show now. Every episode is like moral message of the week.
Which Law and Order?
Yeah, Law and Order.
Yeah,
yeah.
We were talking about there's like four different Law and Order shows. You talk about Special Victims Unit.
I've seen SVU before. SVU's insane, but no, this is just regular Law and Order with what's his name, Watterson. He's in it.
Right. Okay, that's called Law and Order Prime.
Sam Watterson.
Crimes.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
No, Prime. The Prime, as in like initial Law and Order Prime, because what happens is they took a 10-year break, but they're up to season 25. The real jaw dropper is Special Victims Unit is season 27.
Yeah.
Whoa. Yeah.
I've seen like the 20 craziest episodes of SVU, and they were all batshit insane.
That means
so I am familiar with SVU.
I mean, also, if you've been watching SVU since the beginning, it's like, you're watching the actresses gradually get different bits of plastic surgery done, changing their faces. And by 10 seasons in, this actress, who I really liked this actress on ER when she debuted on ER. That was one of her first big gigs. It was the job that got her noticed. It was the job that got her this job. And then there's Kelly Giddish.
Mariska Hargitay on ER.
So
he was Olivia Benson was the character.
Well, when I was watching regular Law and Order Prime or whatever, there would be, it was cutting back and forth. Like the episodes were in no random order. So like there'd be like early episodes you could tell were like, early 90s, mid 90s. And then they'd cut to like, 2000s and past. And there's like such a vast difference. Once the chick from Baywatch Nights shows up, everything after that starts getting really silly.
The early 90s.
Harmon is in that?
The early 90s.
What's her name? Yeah, the brunette chick.
Angie Harmon?
I've got to show the Americans something on the Law and Order front. Now, you don't know this, but we have a really in the UK when Law and Order was screened on British TV, which it's not anymore, but it's all part of streaming and whatnot. But when we had the actual Law and Order, the original 90s one, we had a way better, cooler soundtrack than you guys did. And you've got that strange kind of
it's iconic, but you're right.
I like it.
Right, you're right. But the UK intro, if I can find it, it was on YouTube before.
I've seen the intro.
Yeah, the UK Law and Order intro is way better, man. Way better. And I'm not talking about Law and Order UK. I'm talking about when the American Law and Order was broadcast in the UK. They gave it a different score for some reason. And the score pissed all over yours.
Could it
I
be
don't
from
know.
one of the canceled Law and Order shows? Because there's like 7 or 8 shows in the franchise. Some didn't last. Some went 5, 10 years. Like Law and Order: Criminal Intent had a rocking theme song.
No, this was right.
Oh.
This was right at the beginning.
I have it. Hang on. Is this Bjork? What is this music?
Share it.
Is
And,
this-
share it. Have you got it? Let's have a look.
Is this it?
I'll tell you.
Start with a
about it.
voiceover.
I think. Yeah, this is it. This is way better than your one. Way better.
Wait, this is the one
Sounds
that
like-
I got on
this
TV,
sounds like that-
though.
That's a different Law and Order show's theme
Just
song.
keep playing it.
This
keep
is
playing
Law
it.
and Order 5 UK. I don't know what 5 is, so maybe.
Law and Order
Just
drum and
keep
bass.
playing. Just keep playing.
Well,
just
I
keep
think this is
playing.
real. I think this is real Law and Order because it's got the guy from Gnome Named Norm in it. So he was in this
Is
guy.
the
Yeah,
music
Jerry
we had
Orbach.
on your show, the Jerry Orbach and all that.
This is primary
I
show.
like the no, but I
way
like
better.
I like the US version better. It's such a vibe. It's like
Oh,
you know.
this is way
makes
better,
it
man. This is good.
There's the chick from Terminator 2.
I am positive this is the one that I got on TV.
Weird. Well, where were you? Were you in
Did
America?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, in America.
In America,
you didn't get this
Angie
one.
Hartman. There she
I've
is. She's in
reached
Baywatch Nights.
I
I've
forgot
researched
she
it.
was on this.
Yeah. You didn't
love
get
Baywatch
this
Nights.
version in America.
It's quite
Yeah, it's
cool.
Portishead
Crossing
esque.
Jordan, is
Of
that
the
it?
Berenstein Bears memory replacement. Gosh.
Yeah, it's a Mandela
Yeah.
effect.
Mission Impossible, Stephen Hill.
Law and Order. I love the epilepsy credits.
Yeah.
Law and Order. Law and Order. Law and Order.
I've forgotten Benjamin
Which
Bratt.
family one?
Like,
He was
Yes.
famously in Catwoman. That
we
classic
can't
film.
make up our mind on which title card we like better, so we're gonna flash all 20 of them at you real quick and so stupid.
Jumping back briefly to Scavenger's Reign, I know we've talked about it on the show before, but not when Critical was one of our panel. Critical, what's your rating out of 10 for this, mate?
7 out of 10. It's a little
I
bit
give
too
it-
unrealized for me.
Okay, I give it an 8. Stupenzo?
Yeah, I think I gave it an 8. I give Common Side Effects a 9. It's Common Side Effects is better than Scavenger's Reign.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I
I'll
thought
have to check it
was
out.
Real good.
You say Mike Judge is
Anna-
involved in that one, yeah?
Anna, did you see this?
Yeah, yeah.
Nope. I've never even heard of this.
All right, cool.
It was a random net
um,
fine. I just found it and I was just like, oh, cool. And then
And
I had
so
to probably
you
look
gotta-
it up and-
You got a pick? You got
Well,
a
yeah.
movie for
Yeah.
us?
Well, let's see.
We've got to
did
do
watch,
Blades of Glory because we postponed Blades of Glory from last week, so we'll talk about that and one other one.
Well, no, I watched because Chuck Norris died. I watched Dragon, the Bruce Lee story again, the one with Jason Scott Lee. What a another hokey, corny movie. And I understand taking some extreme liberties with what actually happened in Bruce Lee's life. Turning Bruce Lee's life into a silly action movie. It is kind of meta, but I couldn't help but notice like how literally. Like if the anti-woke YouTube crowd got a hold of Dragon the Bruce Lee story today, they would flip out. It is so like feminist messaging and anti-racism messaging constantly. It's very heavy-handed. And of course back then it was totally common sense. Yes, of course. Of course a white woman should be able to marry an Asian man. Like what is the problem here? You know why? The mother is very disapproving, you know. You're going to have yellow babies. But yeah, the movie's very corny. But what I loved was the soundtrack. That romance theme was used in so many movie trailers after this movie came out. You know, it goes like da 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 da.
Yeah, another one.
It's in so many movies.
Yeah,
And it's who does the music? It's is it so and so's son? Is it the same guy who did the music to Man's Best Friend?
I'm just looking on the
Beethoven,
poster.
maybe. Let's see here. You gotta zoom in on that. Hang on, I got it there. Score. Who did the score? Was it?
It's directed by Rob Cohen.
Right.
He's the
And
one
he. So he actually had to postpone. He had to postpone the movie because he had a heart attack before the movie came out, which is crazy. Okay, yeah. So this is Randy Edelman, and he did the music to Dragonheart and Beethoven.
Yeah, Rob.
He also did the music to Last of the Mohicans.
Yeah,
Gettysburg.
and Gettysburg, and by proxy the Postman because they retest the theme song.
But Dragonheart, Beethoven, Kindergarten Cop, they all have this very same, like, I don't know what kind of synth program he was using or whatever, but his soundtracks I remember sounded very, like, I don't know, synthetic or digital for back in the day. I remember thinking, like, is this like an expensive keyboard he's using? But yeah, very similar sounding music on those movies.
They did a fair few scores, Randy.
Yeah, he's been around. Triple X also working with Rob Cohen. Yeah, Rob Cohen also did Dragonheart. Rob Cohen, I mean, he had some interesting movies, but there was a lot of crazy stuff that they changed. Like, for instance, Bruce Lee, he had already worked in several movies before he moved to America. He was like a child actor, you know, because his father was like in theatrics. His mother was also apparently American or from America, or that's where he met his father. So, I mean, they left all that out. We don't need to know what your politics is, Paul. Fuck off, Paul. I'll say whatever I want. All right. As far as this movie goes, man, they had Bruce Lee. He was in Seattle already with a school before he met his wife. He met his wife as a student in his school. In the movies, he goes to San Francisco, I guess California. They combined a lot of the stuff that he did in Seattle in California, and I guess the main reason they did that is Washington was being dicks. Like they wouldn't let them film on campus and other places, so they just said, we'll just change things and make it like mostly set in California. But in the movie, he meets his wife, his girlfriend. He marries her, and then she's the one who helps him open the school. She also helps him publish his book, which didn't even get published until after he died. And in the movie, like, he's like opening a big shipment of the books, you know. What else is going on in this movie? It's a lot of stuff like that. His Kung Fu premieres, which he actually was not involved in. It makes it seem like he wrote the idea for Kung Fu to star with himself. He auditioned for Kung Fu, but didn't get the role because he has a bad accent, you know. So they went with David Carradine. But in the movie, as Kung Fu's premiering, he gets the phone call that his dad died. When in fact his dad died after his son Brandon was born. So there's just like a lot of weird anachronisms. Like,
I heard these criticisms were all made public when the film came out, but I think it did pretty well at the box office. When I went to see the film, I kind of enjoyed it for what it was, but it did seem it was very over dramatized. The thing I really did like was when his first day of filming The Green Hornet, and apparently that was true that Bruce Lee I think it's, you know, said something like Kato comes in the room on the script and makes a karate stance, and instead he kind of come in the room, punch one stunt man, span down a rope and did something else, and kicked another stunt man, and they said, why did you do that?
No such Green Hornet episode exists of him kicking in the door and flying down the pole and beating everyone up. But I mean, that's the other thing they do in the movie, like when he does the kung fu fights. I'm sorry, is it karate or kung fu? He does his own technique.
Yeah.
Bruce Lee, I forget what his real name is. It's Lee Ji-un or something like that. And that's like what his school was named. But when he's fighting people, he does a lot of flips and big showy things, which Bruce Lee never really did. He doesn't do like flips and stuff when he's fighting. Another thing is he does all his battle cries throughout the whole movie. Like, since he was a little kid, he didn't develop his battle cries until like, you know, Game of Death or something like that, or like later on. What else is interesting? Oh yeah, they make it, you know, it is true that he did have to like defend his honor to teach white and black people. Li Ju Fan. Okay. Yeah. He did have to like argue to teach white and black people the arts of martial arts. That is true. But this idea that he had to do this big fight and tournament and everything, and he got his back injured by like a disrespectful opponent. Like, first of all, he got into a lot of fights because he talked a lot of shit.
Yeah,
he was
a
very
gobble
like,
wanker.
hey, your school sucks. My method is better. Like, he was one of those trash talking guys. He got in a lot of fights. In fact, in the movie, he starts learning kung fu because he was like tormented by a demon or something as a child. The truth is, he got his ass kicked in a street gang. He was like in a street gang starting problems, and he got his ass kicked by another gang. So that's why he started learning martial arts, because he was a troublemaker. The other thing is, you know, he learned all this martial arts, and he got in all these fights. And in the movie, he injures his back because you know, this opponent does not willingly submit, willingly surrender or whatever. So he kicks him in the back. The truth is, he pulled his back out doing weightlifting. He was doing some kind of exercise where you put a big barbell over your back and you do like these squats or something. And he threw his back out. It was bad. Now, he did have to spend time in the emergency room for a long time because of a motorcycle accident. And if you watch the trailer for the movie, that motorcycle accident is in the trailer. So it seems like they filmed it and cut it out. But yeah, they make it seem like he got his back injured in a fight, and that's why he's in the hospital, and that's where he writes the book. His dishonorable opponent was the gym. Anna, you should just say that shit instead of typing it in.
I'm not going to interrupt you. Keep going.
You should. No. Yes, he was crazy strong though, and I heard like Bruce Lee could what was it in Enter the Dragon or whatever, when he's popping all of his bones, like that is actual like sound from the microphone that you're hearing. Like those are his actual bones like popping.
Didn't he invent the 1-inch punch? Wasn't that him?
Yeah, or definitely first time I ever heard about it. You know, like just like, you know, snap your wrist and send a guy flying, you know, 10 feet back. That's pretty funny, man. But yeah, this movie was corny, hokey, but damn, it was still fun. I couldn't help but keep watching it. It was pretty silly. I mean, honestly, it's a pretty mid movie if we're being honest. But Lauren Holly's beautiful, and Jason Scott Lee, I mean, he's a dancer by trade, and he does a good job. He's not related to Bruce Lee. They actually approached Brandon Lee to play his father, and he said no for a couple reasons. Number one, he couldn't do the Chinese accent, or didn't want to do. And then secondly, he didn't want to pretend to have sex with his mom in a bunch of scenes.
And then
or at least an
Brandon Lee
actress
died a few weeks before this came out.
That is the eeriest part of this movie, because in the Rob Cohen, fictionalized, dramatized version of his life, his father is tormented by this demon, and the demon is after him, and he's afraid the demon will go pass on to his son. So that's why he sends his son to America to be famous. But because he becomes famous, the demon is now after him, and Bruce Lee starts getting tormented by the demon, which are his, metaphor for his, inner demons and what have you. But then there's a really creepy scene towards the end when he like fights the demon. The demon goes after his son, Brandon, in the dream. And he's like, Brandon, no! And he has to fight the demon with nunchucks and stuff. And the nunchuck is played by, what's his name? Sven, the guy from Braxis. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. Arnie's workout buddy. Yeah.
He couldn't see at all in the samurai helmet he was wearing either, so he did pretty good for his choreography. But,
it was also,
that scene specifically is like really creepy now.
When it came out, I think it was 1993. And what year did Brandon Lee die?
That Anna said, like a few weeks before the movie came out. In fact,
like 1993,
Bruce Lee's wife was involved in the movie, and he asked Rob Cohen, was like, should we postpone the movie or change anything or cut anything, like that demon scene? And she's like, no, all we want to do is add a dedication, to the movie. So dedicated it to Brandon.
So when it came out in the UK, which was after America, I think it was about 6 months later, he had been dead for several months. So I remember that. And I remember thinking, God damn, this is really, I was sort of trying to work out whether it was either really weird or a weird coincidence that they put that in the film, or whether it was just like in really bad taste.
In like a month, it was him and Kurt Cobain died like right within the same 6-week period. And then like a month after that, Pam Anderson and Tommy Lee named their kid Brandon Lee.
This is a slightly more accurate film which came out in 2008, called The Legend of Bruce Lee, which was actually made in Hong Kong. I had seen it, and it's pretty decent. It definitely has its inaccuracies, but not to the same extent as in the Dragons.
So,
Into the Dragon.
Wait, that doesn't make any sense. When did Brandon Lee die?
I think he died right around spring 1993, if I'm not incorrect.
Okay. So yeah. So the movie Dragon came out May 7th, 93. And then what's even crazier is like literally a year later, May 13th, 94 is when The Crow came out.
Mm-hmm.
So like almost a year, more than a year after he had died.
Yeah, because they had to go back and do lots of work on it. Because
they had to go back and do stuff with body doubles. There was also Alex Proyas, who, and I've spoken to Alex about this, because he has agreed to come on.
I was going to say, you've not done an interview. I look forward to that.
No, he changes his mind a lot, so which is fair enough. But he's welcome to come on anytime, and he knows that. But I have chatted with him before, and it really affected him. He didn't want to direct again. It devastated him actually, and they had to sort of coax him. He didn't think the film should be released, but obviously the studio had put a lot of money in it, and it was nearly finished. It was like 75% shot, and it was the first time that they did some shots where they took some shots that they weren't going to use. Cut him out of those shots and then rematted him in effectively with a bit of CG and green screen stuff. Obviously not as sophisticated as it is now, but that was one of the first.
Nowadays they just resurrect you with AI.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
honestly, it's probably better. It's easier and better and cheaper, honestly, to do that.
But that was one of the first uses of that in the original Crow movie. They did a little bit of that in Gladiator with Ollie Reed as well. With his scene, his death scene, which hadn't been filmed. So they did some of that with him, and
like I said, I mean, I liked Dragon. I watched it again, but I'm telling you, if this movie was released right now, like, everyone would be eviscerating it for being woke garbage, And it's like, it is actually. I mean, if you think about it, but I don't mind it. I liked it. I thought it was good.
And I mean,
it was hokey.
Even though we don't talk about politics in here on this channel. We are allowed to comment whether we think a film is woke or not, which is not the same thing.
Bro.
My panelists are entitled to express their views in that context, or talk about people expressing their views in that context about a product. So
I see here that the film
I always criticize. Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I say I always criticize YouTubers who would just like lean too heavily on the it's woke. It's like, no, it isn't. My favorite movie last year was One Battle After Another. All right, everyone else hated it apparently, except for me.
Well, I think
I liked it. I didn't think it was the dog's bollocks, but I enjoyed it. I thought it was a good movie.
Something being in inverted commas woke doesn't necessarily make it bad. We need to bear that in mind. What I feel is that generally, if you make things woke and if you kowtow to certain expectations that fall within that definition, then you are curtailing yourself creatively, and that can cause you to have a bad product.
Yeah. Okay. Well, look,
I'm seeing right here, really quick, make of this what you will. So the film did really well. It made 64 million against a 13 million budget, and apparently the main reason, or at least what's attributed as the main reason, is that nearly half the audience were women. It was like 45% women showed up, and so it performed a lot better than expected, especially since Bruce Lee's films were overwhelmingly male audiences.
Right.
And so if it was Jason Lee who was hot enough to bring people in, if it was people who were thinking about the recent death of Brandon Lee, or I don't know what it is, but so I guess I actually read about it. Women were raising the bar.
They had said that because they knew it was going to do well with men because it's Bruce Lee. So all the marketing was tailored for the romantic aspect of the movie.
Right.
And in fact, I remember that around that time, shortly after the movie came out, or maybe it came out on video, I remember seeing a ice skating competition, the Olympics or something, ice figure skating, pair skating. In Blades of Glory, and they were dancing. They were doing the whole. They were doing the soundtrack suite where they do the main
Yeah,
theme, the
I
title
remember.
theme, and the romance
Yeah.
theme, and it's like that's how you know it's
Yeah.
a big deal when like ice
Yeah.
skaters are picking your music to dance to.
Well, that's the perfect segue, Enzo, because you wanted to talk about
Blaze
this
and Glory
last week, and we are going to talk about it as you mentioned it last week, and we didn't have time. Part of the reason is I've never seen this all the way through. I've seen bits of it.
It was very silly. It's very silly and very funny and very gay. I watched this and Burt Wonderstone for the first time back to back. This one was way better than Burt Wonderstone. Burt Wonderstone was not great, although Olivia Wilde is beautiful. This movie is, it was fun. It's a very silly premise about the whole joke is like they're couples figure skating, but they're two dudes and they don't like each other. They're enemies. They used to be rivals, and they're both banned from figure skating for their attitudes. Will Ferrell is playing kind of out of character as this like wild card, kind of Kenny Rogers type character. He's like the Kenny Rogers of not Kenny Rogers, Kenny Powers of figure skating, you know. And then John Heder is this little golden boy, goody two shoes type figure skater, and they hate each other. They get banned. And then years later, they find out there's a loophole where they're only banned from like singles skating. So they can theoretically do a couples thing, and they have to reluctantly partner with each other because nobody else will partner with them. And who's the coach again? It's another big celebrity coaching them how to ice skate. Who was it? It's the same thing with Burt Wonderstone. It's Alan. Alan Alda's like the mad magician coach. It's like the dodgeball guy. Dodging a wrench with Rip Torn.
Rip Torn.
Yeah, there's always some older, better-known actor who's like, there's a scene where, who's the guy? Surely, it's not William Fisher. It's Craig T. Nielsen.
Craig T. Nielsen.
It's Coach.
Yeah,
and there's a hilariously stupid scene where before they decide to pair up, they run into each other and they get into a fight. And they're fighting each other and throwing each other around, and there's like security cam footage, and like Craig T. Nelson's watching the footage, and he's seeing like how elegantly they're like manhandling each other and throwing each other across the room, and he's like, "Wait a minute, there's something here." It's so stupid.
It's funny because they're both trying to be so very heterosexual and macho, while at the same time being one of the most homoerotic things that you've ever seen on screen. It's it's a bit mad. It really is.
I don't know if this is gonna do well on like rewatchability factor. I mean, it was funny.
I imagine Blue Sky doesn't like it very much, but I saw it quite a lot of years ago actually, and I thought it was one of the funnier because this was at the stage where Will Ferrell was just knocking out all of these comedies all the time.
Garbage. I'm not a big fan of Will.
Yeah, this is when you got Talladega Nights and all that kind of stuff. The Legend of was it Rocky Bobby or whatever his name was. And I thought this one had a little something to it that made it quite funny. So yeah,
John Head is a funny actor, and by funny I mean he's quite strange. You know, he's got a limited range, but he is great at playing those very quirky, odd characters. I'd like to see him in a completely straight, serious role. I really would, to see what he can do with it. You know,
has he even done anything recently? I mean,
I haven't seen him in much recently, but I'd love to see him in a like an All the President's Men kind of movie. You know, but I mean, Paul, I didn't think it was either. Personally, I quite liked One Battle After Another.
I was enraged when people were saying like, "Oh, I hated that movie. I couldn't even. I turned it off halfway through."
Oh, it's just so stupid. Okay, Admiral T, you got a film or a show you want to recommend?
How about I do a reverse recommend and share the benefit of my experience? It speaks to something we both love. It's a Yellowstone spinoff. So I checked out the first 2 episodes of both the Madison and Yellowstone Marshals, and unfortunately, there is no Yellowstoneness at all to Yellowstone Marshals. They dropped the Yellowstone; it's just Marshals. Casey, who's got a body count of like 45 people, knows how the governor of the state disappeared and helped kill the state attorney general. Somehow makes a fantastic federal marshal. I think what happened was they were going to make a Marshall show anyway. It's competently done. It's not horrible, but it's your same lovable bunch of misfits. Casey is not being Casey. They lost the actress who was going to be his wife. She ended up on another show or something. So we got one moment with him sort of looking at her tombstone. And then when he sees his son, he's just sort of like, well, guess you'll be plenty busy out here with the herd while I'm being a marshal. And he's like, yep, guess I'll be working the herd. And that, we haven't seen him since. And so this show, in episode 2, they mention Rip, and that's it. But that's as much Yellowstoneness as there is to it. It's very much like the show FBI or CIA, and it's your gang of like 4 or 5 like cops and agents, and they do what they do the way they do it. We'll see what their investigation is.
I want that baseball cap. I like that color, that brown color. I want that cap. Yeah, I like that. I like with the faded.
Is that a 66 hat?
I think it is like a faded stars and stripes on it. I think.
Oh, yeah, okay.
But
you like the tactical gear.
I don't have to have the tactical gear because in London, if you walk around with that on, that will probably get the anti-terrorism police out pretty quickly.
I was going to say they arrested a guy for using a weighted vest the other day. So
really,
oh my gosh.
Yeah, he was working out a weighted vest, and they thought it was a bomb vest.
We're on high terror alert at the moment in the UK, like the maximum. Yeah. We're on the maximum level because we had a hate crime just yesterday or the day before yesterday where they blew up a whole load of ambulances.
Mm-hmm. And wear your knife-proof vest before you leave home. Now they're going to arrest you for it.
It's just it's obviously because of what's going on. Anyway, we won't go there. Yeah, that's a shame because the trailer for this actually looked pretty good. I also like is it Luke Grimes who plays the lead guy? This actor is it Luke Grimes? Luke Grimes, right?
I think Casey Sutton, right?
Yeah, Luke Grimes. I like Luke Grimes I like him as an actor. But it's a shame. I hear what you're saying. It sounds a little bit very loose.
They were going to make an FBI style show where they had a more rustic location rather than having another New York City crime show. So they were going to do that no matter what. They took Casey Dutton. They just sideload him into the show. We're forgetting about this man's incredible body count. And it's just like, oh yeah, he has a sense of justice because he used to be a Navy SEAL, I think it is. And what you said about the hat is it's a Navy SEAL or like special ops hat, and he's got that black on black American flag across the middle. That's what he's wearing. Right. And while he's cool and he's got great Yellowstone gear, the mystery seems routine so far, and I don't know really where it's going to go. It was not interesting throughout the end of episode 2, and I sort of lost interest when they pointed out all the flaws and why Casey shouldn't be a marshal. They're like, he's the son of our biggest cold case and the brother of our second biggest cold case, and he's wanted in both.
What's the second Yellowstone spin-off that you saw? It wasn't aware.
Turned out that the Madison is not a Yellowstone spin-off. It is just a show that takes place. The Madison is just a show that takes place in the vicinity of the Yellowstone and in Montana.
Oh, once again, filmed in Texas. But it's a Taylor Sheridan show.
It's not much though. It's
set in the Taylor Sheridan universe in a way.
Oh, this is the one with Michelle Pfeiffer.
Yeah.
Yes.
I quite like the look of this. Are you telling us this is no good either?
All right, here's the thing. It is a quality woman's drama about trying to find yourself. It's about her journey of self-discovery. The spoiler, if I can give it, is in the first 15 minutes of episode 1. So is it really a spoiler? I'll leave it to you whether I should say what operates this show.
I think it's somebody's dying, isn't it?
Kurt Russell plows into a mountain after 15 boring minutes of fishing. He is the most boring fisherman. And then we find out that he hates his life. And that's intercut with her in New York being herself. Most of the interiors seem to be filmed in Texas. There's like a beatdown scene in front of the Empire State Building that's well filmed. It looks beautiful. All of it looks beautiful. But for long periods of time, she just sits and reads a book or has her eyes closed in a tub. And all of a sudden, Kurt Russell's Force Ghost shows up and there's voiceover and he's doubled. And you can tell it's not him. And he's like, men were supposed to be hunters and women were supposed to be gatherers. And if you can take that for like 7 whole minutes while her eyes are closed in a bath with rose petals while she just thinks, and then we see the river and she's like, I want to live out here in this fishing shack. It's like Green Acres. It's like she doesn't want to live on Fifth Avenue anymore after saying she doesn't even want to go camping. And they move to this place that has no plumbing.
I'm telling you now, Michelle Pfeiffer is not going to take a dump in that shack on the right. Just isn't going to happen.
Her daughter did.
Wait, so it's a little like a Hallmark plot, like a big city, New York businesswoman lady goes out to the countryside and learns to appreciate the beauty and the calmness of life. And there's probably a hot younger man who teaches her about it as well.
Yeah.
I heard rumors about Don Johnson being connected to this, so he has a similar energy to Kurt. I could imagine him coming on the scene at the end of season 1 because they renewed this already for season 2. I think it only runs 16 episodes. This is Taylor Sheridan putting up a woke cover for when he does crazy shit in Landman. But there is taking a shit joke if anyone cares.
At the end of the day, if this is targeted more at the kind of the Hallmark romance crowd, but with a better budget and really nice photography, there's nothing wrong with that. Some people will be really up for that.
Yeah, it's good at what it is. It's just it's not Yellowstone, and it's not for it's definitely doesn't seem to be made for men. But
Matthew Fox is he's getting on. He's getting on a bit there.
Michelle Pfeiffer is really aging too. I've just been looking at the pictures.
Yeah,
I think she's still really pretty. But...
I just watched my favorite Matthew McConaughey movie the other day with my date. She hadn't seen it, and I was like, "Oh, we got to watch this film," and that's We Are Marshall, and Matthew Fox is in that. It's one of my favorite sports movies of all time as well. So I haven't seen him in anything in a while. And that's not that he's been constantly working. I just haven't always seen the stuff that he's done. But I don't know.
We Are Marshall is our dream scenario every season.
It's such a good film, man. That's a really good script as well.
I just hate how is this AMC or Paramount? It kind of reminds me of like when AMC was doing, it just became the zombie channel for a while there, and now like everything's got to be like the Yellowstone channel.
Yeah.
This didn't have to be related to this one definitely was hived off from Yellowstone. The Madison is the other branch of the Yellowstone River. The Madison is the northernmost, I think the further northern branch of the Yellowstone River. And the stakes on this seem to be pretty low. It was like, I want to buy this fishing shack outright and bury my husband here. And they're like, okay, but in a couple of 100 years, they might have to move his grave. And I'm like, everybody dies knowing that. Like, what kind of stakes are these? But we fish.
I'm pretty sure you were dissolved by then or gone.
Yeah,
right?
Wait, what's the problem? Why would they have to move his grave in 200 years anyway? What will there be left
They're
to
going
move?
to build condominiums in Yellowstone.
Yeah, the crack houses and the mall that they're building on the Yellowstone property and Thomas Rainwater's real estate empire might just reach up there. I don't know. They're in the middle of nowhere. Why it's a concern?
It's like
I have
the threat is development. I was just wondering, because I am a mortuary archaeologist, that the point is what's going to be left after 200 years? Not that much in terms of bones in most burial cases.
But the honest truth is they said it's like after her death, who knows, anyone could buy the place, which is, again, anybody knows that. It's like, so maybe just cremate him and put his ashes in this river he loved to fish in, because this is the only reason he's able to achieve to make enough money to support 3 kids in high-end New York City and a wife who doesn't work and is a full-time philanthropist, is that he has to go fishing a few times a year in Yellowstone to decompress, because whatever it is he's doing in New York is just destroying him. So
basically, so far, it's a little bit of a weak premise. It looks nice. Got some good actors in it, but
she'll get an award for this.
The story's not doing the material justice, essentially, is what you're saying.
I don't think they had the best TV people on it. It's not the greatest doubling, when you can tell right away, oh, he's definitely not there. And like, what's with these Force Ghost scenes? If they string that across a whole season, I still think Michelle Pfeiffer will probably get an award for something. He tends to get good performances out of people, but even though he knows how to use older actresses. And by the way, she looks a million times younger and better than she did in Ant-Man and the Wasp for some reason. This one just there's not a lot going on. I mean, I'm sure it will work out to be a decent woman's drama. I'm sure
He's
she'll
doing a
have
lot.
her.
Do you think he's spreading himself a little bit thin?
I think he is. I believe he very much is.
Before we start to wrap up, obviously we've had a few legends passed in the last few days.
It's just been one after another.
Yeah,
Legends
I mean,
are
of course, you guys will know that I did a Chuck Norris dedication stream. For anyone watching, it's on the channel, and we'll play something of that out when we finish up today. So and actually Admiral Teague was good enough to jump on that at very short notice, and we chatted about that and with another chat that came on, but it was it was, you know, he just celebrated his birthday and then boom, the next thing was he was gone. And I
remember breaking news when he was in the hospital, and it's like, oh, he just celebrated a birthday. That's not good, you know, with old people or anniversaries or holidays. You know, they'll just they always tend to just keel over out of there. And then I thought that was very sketchy when William Shatner was like gloating about his 95th birthday. I was like, yo, be careful, man. Don't be saying shit like that.
Yeah, the post with the cigar. Like,
William Shatner fell off a horse.
Look great, man. Don't jinx it.
Yeah, wow.
He fell off a horse like the day before his birthday.
William Shatner ain't dying before George Takei does. I'll tell you that. They hate each other.
I know, yeah.
It is pretty sad that, like, you know, you make a video like bragging like, yo, I just turned 86, I'm leveling up, and then like heart attack like a few hours later or something. Like, God,
yeah,
it sucks.
That was unfortunate.
What I found more distasteful was the people that came out straight away and immediately start attacking him over his politics.
There were two articles. There were two articles, and they were both. I mean, I'm sure there were more, but the two that I read, one was about his career was problematic because it was propaganda, you know, which I don't disagree with. A lot of these shows are like the cops are good guys and the bad guys are bad guys, and there's no moral ambiguity. And the bad guys get killed, and the cops take the law in their own hands, and it's not technically legal. And how can we condone this in a time of ice in Iran? I remember the article saying that. I was like, Jesus. But so one article was criticizing like his overall career, the movies he was in were problematic, and then the other article was like criticizing the fact that he was, you know, Republican, anti-LGBT, whatever, against
Lance
gay marriage kind of stuff.
Here. We said because he wasn't that outspoken, he was going to get dragged as a conservative. We said it here, and within
pretty sure he
hours.
was a conservative. I'm going to be real. I think he was.
Well,
I thought he said he was a Democrat. He just thought that they got more insane over time and pulled away from him.
I saw that video. He said that he hasn't changed. He's still a Democrat like he was 40 years ago. Now, I don't know when that was filmed, but he put the time frame as about 40 years of watching things happen, and now he couldn't stand with them anymore. But he just got slammed for the quality of his movies, and in general was not an outspoken guy. He was outspoken about like physical fitness, being centered and stuff like that.
His sin was he endorsed Trump in 2016. I'm sure is like his grave sin.
Yeah, he did do that, and he was also again at one point he was against gay marriage. I think he later recanted.
I read the article, and basically he supported like some guy in Alabama that was anti-gay marriage, which I'm sure, you know, by de facto means you are at least, you know, partly agree with that. But I mean,
I click like on a lot of stuff that's crazy. Again, just my friends.
This is the reason that I don't follow actors' politics. I follow their movies. And
I don't either.
I decide to follow their career on the basis of their movies, not what they get up to in their free time. I'm a firm believer of democracy, and I'm a firm believer of somebody having the right to disagree with me without me hating them for it.
Mm-hmm.
I remember
not everyone on this panel has the same political views. I kill spiders on a fairly regular basis, which Al would be very upset about. So
you're lucky I'm not in charge.
I remember when I would drive from El Paso to Austin a lot, and you drive past Chuck Norris's property out there on the. He lives out there in the middle of you know, the middle of West Texas, like smack in between Austin and El Paso. So like somewhere like 4 hours away from Austin, off on you know, off of like 71. You know, he's got like
a
this
ranch
big
in
ranch
Texas
with this big gate
and a ranch in Hawaii. I think he's living the life.
Yeah, it was definitely a big ass property.
Canon Films, of course, were pro-Israel because they were run by 2 Israelis. So, of course,
Dude.
they were
So
have
I got the We Watch for the Hitman coming out tomorrow. That's like such a badass Chuck Norris movie. It's a lot more boring than I remembered, but like the violence that is peppered throughout the movie is so over the top. But also, I loved Invasion USA. That one is so insane.
Well, we talked about that a lot on the channel the other day.
I love sidekicks, but like, dude, the sidekicks part of the double. I did this like Chuck Norris double feature like 3 years ago, and I re-released it, and sidekicks has been blocked now, and I deleted it. So it's on my Rumble, the sidekicks we watch, but sidekicks is another fun one. He's doing like his version of The Last Action Hero, I guess.
This is an interesting essential Chuck Norris watch list because although his brief cameo in Expendables 2 is fun, I would not put Expendables 2 on any watch list ever. Just the Expendables films they're just naff. But Invasion
Silent
USA,
Rage.
That
was the one I was thinking of.
One. Yeah, we saw. I think we watched. Didn't we watch the trailer for Silent Rage? Admiralty, was that the trailer that we watched?
I think that's the one we watched. We watched a couple of trailers. There was definitely a point there in the middle '80s where there was just a formula, like he was always either like. Was that the one where he's a cop?
The thing that I liked about him was that he was very self-effacing. He was totally down with the humor. He didn't take himself too seriously. He knew his acting limitations, and and as RRTNZ said, who came on briefly on our little dedication stream, if you read the history of the man, he is the epitome of someone who failed multiple times but kept getting back up, and carrying on. That would be right through his career, and he didn't win all of his martial arts fights at the beginning. He lost a lot of them, and he kept getting better. He didn't start out as a professional actor. He did one film, The Way of the Dragon. He thought it was a fluke. He wasn't going to carry on. It was Steve McQueen who told him to carry on acting. And told him to go and get acting lessons.
He did a lot better though as an actor and as a martial artist than certain others, like Steven Seagal, who I'd say was neither a good martial artist nor a good actor.
I mean, Steven Seagal is really just Steven Seagal. That's the only skill set he has.
So what's interesting is like when you look at First Blood, Rambo First Blood, you have the more complex. You've got that moral ambiguity that everyone loves, but because of the popularity of Chuck Norris and Charles Bronson in the 70s, that is what kind of led to when you look at the sequel to First Blood, how different it is, just mowing down Vietnamese people or Afghanis people.
Blood?
Second Blood, yeah. But when you like that leap to that kind of action hero who just like kills people indiscriminately and takes the law in his own hands, like that was popularized by Chuck Norris and Bronson with the Death Wish movies and such, and that's why all those 80s action stars they owe that whole action movie guy trope to mostly Chuck Norris and Charles Bronson, even though their movies are not nearly as popular as like the Van Dammes and the Arnolds and the Sylvester Stallone movies that later came. Those movies in the 70s were specifically why action movies pivoted to such over the top violence and schlock, and just like I said, bad guys are evil and they're going to get killed. And we're not going to feel sorry for them. We're going to be happy when they die, And the good guy's going to kill them all with impunity and not get arrested or have any kind of problems or anything. He might get wounded. He's going to get a bloody lip. That he's going to get the girl. That's the other thing. Oh, man.
Well, before we go, I wanted to mention the Red Hot Chili Peppers documentary, which is on Netflix. I just finished watching it before we started, actually. Do we have any fans of said band on the panel?
Some of it.
Listened to some of their songs when I was younger. That's about it.
I believe
it's a good documentary. There's no surprises in it because
they could have lost.
They were quite.
They could have lost a couple of records out there.
Taking a lot of heroin. They were not personally. I was working at a music store when they were quite hot, and that was why I wanted to see the documentary. I was never into them personally, even though I had this very cool Red Hot Chili Peppers hoodie. which was like very loud with all these mad colors on it.
Do they talk about Cliff Martinez? Because Cliff Martinez is like my favorite film composer, and he was one of the original drummers of Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Yeah, they do mention the original lineup, and a couple of people left. And
does Cliff Martinez show up at all? Probably not.
I think he's
saw
in
them
it.
with Hillel Slovak.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I love, I like the Chili Peppers. I'm not really a fan of the fact that they sacrificed River Phoenix to the devil so they could be famous. But other than that, I do like their music. They got some jammers. I saw Red Hot Chili Peppers perform live at the San Antonio big arena theater they have down there, AT&T Center or some bullshit. And it's such a funny story because I knew this guy Robert who was this big blowhard. And he was one of those guys where this is the kind of guy he was. He tells me and a huge crew of fucking 10 people, like, yo, man, Red Hot Chili Peppers, I got us all tickets. And he was like he had experience like in ticket scalping and stuff like that. So he was one of those guys. So I was like, okay, I believed him. We go down there. We all drive down to San Antonio. It's like an hour away from Austin. And we get there and we meet up with Robert in the parking lot. And he's like, all right, well, let's just stick our fingers in the air. We'll get tickets. And I'm like, wait. We're trying to buy tickets here in the parking lot? Like, oh, no. We were supposed to we don't even know where we're going to sit or if we're going to get ripped off or what the hell. And out of nowhere, like we're all basically half of us are like defeated, while some of us are like, oh, okay, well maybe we will buy these like 3 seats here and go here. And I don't know. I remember like the crew I was with were like, all right, let's just go. And as we're leaving, we see our friend Darlene standing on top of this stairwell outside the building, like attached to the building. And we're like, that's Darlene up there. And we're like waving at her and she's like, hey, come on up here. And we're like, what? We walk up the stairs to this like emergency exit, and there's like her shoe has the door propped open, and she takes us in, and it turns out that she's on a date with this guy who's rented out one of the box suites, you know. So we just hang out in this big box suite in the arena area, and it's like there's like $22 Heinekens, like single bottles, you know. It was ridiculous. And I guess the guy was like trying to impress Darlene, so he's like, "Yeah, you guys take whatever you want, order whatever you want." I was like, "Are you sure, man? These beers are fucking overpriced, man. I don't know, man." But anyway, it was a good concert.
He must have been really into Darlene if he was fine with a whole bunch of her friends crashing the date like that.
Well, I know I never saw him again, so it must have not worked out or something. I mean, you know, whatever. She's got a new man now. Yeah, that was a wild time. And I'm not a fan of Anthony Kiedis' pervy mustache look, especially the fact that he's dating like a 19-year-old or some bullshit, him being a 50-year-old man.
More than that. He's heading well towards 60 now.
Good for him, I guess. Rock star dating a young hot babe. I mean, whatever. I mean, we're not going to judge the guy for it, obviously.
Rod Stewart, you know.
I gotta say though, Flea is doing some really cool stuff lately. He's got this like new jazz album out right now, because he plays trumpet as well as bass, and he's got this really good music video that just came out like earlier this last year. Can't remember the name of the song, but it is some really interesting stuff what Flea's doing solo. I definitely recommend checking that out.
I saw the Chili Peppers live once. They suck.
Despite going against my good friend Drinker and him having Andy Weir on, we actually had a decent audience all the way through tonight. So
nice.
Yeah,
I want to thank
you. Got to stop worrying about other people streaming, because the people that are here every week are going to stay here.
I was looking at the numbers. It's about the same as it ever is.
Yeah, I'm not.
There's always someone going to be streaming at the same time as you.
I'm not worried about other people streaming, but when we've advertised that we're going to be talking all about Project Hail Mary, and then somebody else has got the writer from Project Hail Mary on the same time. That's a different kind of coincidence.
Here's why this show's better to watch live, because we will acknowledge your comments in the chat. The fucking Drinker, he's not gonna.
Yeah,
read your comments.
He can't really. He hasn't really got time to do that.
Send him $50 super chats. He'll read them next week and on another stream.
Yeah,
those chats go fast though. They go fast.
Yeah.
I want to say about this music film phenomenon we're getting. Iron Maiden have got a movie out in like 6 weeks.
That's right. Yeah, they do. Yeah,
I can't wait. Burning Ambition.
Dude, I was a Maiden fan when I was 82 to probably 84. That's when I started growing my hair long.
I've seen them.
I had a cut of Venom. I had a cut off denim like you, Al, with the patches on it. Then I grew up and I got into proper music like house and stuff. But yeah,
I never grew up, and I never intend on doing so either.
Is it a dramatic Maiden movie or is it a concert movie?
It looks like a bit of both, really.
No, I think it's
sort of a behind the scenes, fans talking to the band, a little bit of concert footage. I saw some stuff from Rock in Rio. So I'm guessing it's going to cover the whole history.
Movie.
So it's archival footage and stuff. It's not actors playing.
Okay, Paul Di'Anio and stuff like that. You know, so I think it's
fucking awesome.
Whole history of Iron Maiden. I look forward to it.
Just to remind people that I talked about before anybody came on. This is the link for the Hiroshima movie. It's a TV movie, 1995. I really liked it. In fact, I liked it as much as the one we had. You know, what was it? Oppenheimer. I actually found this film a bit more engrossing because that film is so up its arse. So yeah, it was. It's worth watching, and it's on YouTube, and it's completely for free. And the link is also in the information. Stupenzo, what's this thing you've got here?
I'm going to play a few seconds of one of Flea's newer music videos. It's called A Plea. I definitely recommend you watch this whole video. It's like 7.5 minutes long.
Okay, we're gonna do 2 seconds.
Just to kind of, it's some really cool music. And the music video is really neat
like
too.
Some kind of French mime performer that would turn up at your restaurant.
He's doing like weird interpretive dance, and the whole music video is like one take of him like walking around this big elaborate soundstage. But the music itself is like, it's really cool. And like I said, he's mostly playing trumpet on the new album. But yeah, I definitely recommend checking out Flea's new stuff, man. It's pretty cool.
Enzo, I'm going to need a piece of artwork off you pretty promptly. Something which I can't discuss on the stream. But if we can confer about that after this finishes, that would be great.
Jesus.
No, okay.
Sure.
Okay, good. All right.
Slave driver Lance.
Bloody mysterious.
Just like, I need you to get on this flyer right now, but I can't tell you what it is. So I'll see. Hopefully you have it ready at the end of the show. I need it immediately. I can't tell you what it is, though. You have to figure it out.
I wanted to mention it at the beginning of the show, but we got too engrossed in Project Mary. No, it's not a complicated thing. It
never is.
Pretty soon. No, my stuff's easy, man. Yeah, so well, we're gonna wrap up there, but thanks to everyone coming on. Also, Admiral Teague for coming on the Nielsen ratings. I think it's first time. Was it first time you've been on the Nielsen ratings? Not a second time.
I've been on here one more time. I've been on here one time previously.
Well, we'll see you again next week if you're free. Great to have Al and Anna, of course, and of course my regular co-host, the king of Texican food, Stupenzolicious. Of course, do check out his streams. Check out Dorkside, great stuff, really funny.
Yeah, check out the We Watch for Hitman tomorrow. It's really funny, even though it's like a 3-year-old video. Like I said, when I started doing the We Watches, it was like me and my cousin just kind of watching shit in YouTube or on Discord, and I was just kind of recording them for shits and giggles. And I didn't realize I could put them on YouTube until like later, and I was like, "Oh, this is like allowed. It's like fair use and stuff." Okay, but yeah, I re-uploaded it and I rewatched it the other day, and I'm like, "God damn, we're funny." I'm sorry. It's weird when I watch an old video from like 3 years ago, and I'm like cracking myself up about stuff I don't remember saying. It's good times. So definitely check it out. Also, The Hitman is an insane movie. He like blows up the bad guy at the end with dynamite, and then the credits just roll as like chunks of viscera and meat are just like raining down on the street. And then in credits, that's it. That's the end of the movie. Happy ending. It's just like, what?
We didn't just lose Chuck Norris, another actress.
Oh yeah, the guy from Buffy, and the guy who made the Max.
There was the guy from Buffy. We also lost Valerie Perrine from Superman and Superman 2.
Oh right, that was the other day yesterday, right?
Yeah.
R.I.P.
Like I said, they're dropping like flies at the moment. It's crazy.
Yeah, so
because everybody's old.
She was a very glamorous actress, and quite a screen presence.
Nicholas Brendan wasn't that old.
Yeah, what happened to him though? I find that suspicious that the Buffy franchise, the Buffy reboot was canceled, and he just dies. Like, did he OD or something?
He has
I
Stanley
don't
said of natural causes. It's
No one
likely,
dies of
it
natural
could be,
causes at
Yeah, no one dies at
54.
natural causes at 54. It was either a combination of his alcoholism and past drug abuse catching up to him, or it was ODing with current drug abuse that he
Liver.
hasn't gotten help for. And there's lots of
Look.
speculation. And that's why I think it's a little disrespectful of the family to say something like natural causes when it obviously isn't, because he had been struggling with his demons for so long, and it's only going to invite speculation.
Right.
And
He
it's
had a
also
lot of
very
health problems due to his demons. So
Well,
I think
because it
yeah.
wasn't too clear to me, I was going to cover him next time.
Well, I've
but
also
there's
had
been-
friends like, pass away of ODs, overdoses, accidental or otherwise. And every time it's always like, we'd like to have respect. It's like, now's the time to like warn people about like, hey, if you drink a bunch, like your liver will fail one day and you'll die. Like, you gotta be careful, and you gotta.
If it's like she says, think about the people he's leaving behind. They're like, we just lived it. We're not going to give you a PSA. Like,
No,
us
I
being
can
here is
understand
a
the
PSA.
family.
Yeah,
But,
we're going to wrap it up there because we're going to go over otherwise.
also, Starfleet Academy got cancelled. Yeah.
Yes, but that's
You're free after one more season.
That's all we need to
10
say.
episodes.
Cancelled. There's nothing else to say about it. I mean, I
Yeah,
can predict that if season 2 hadn't been shot already, and it's not season 2, it's part 1 of season 1.
Now, hear me out.
part
Cancel
two,
that
season
season,
one, yeah.
renew the Acolyte so we can get one more season to see where on earth they were.
Combine the shows.
Well, I think
Combine
that's a good cue to cut to the end credits, which on this episode will be dedicated to Chuck Norris.
So here's a little song for my favorite action movie hero. Some said he was the king of the bees, but this man is an A-lister to me. He started out training at the Bruce Lee school, but this legend of mine made ginger beards cool. Dashingly handsome with his strawberry blonde hair, wearing cut denim like he didn't care. Only good guys wear black. Oh, Chuck Norris, I wish you could come back. He had a silent rage when he fought in the octagon. He played a cool bad guy across Lee and Way of the Dragon. As a hitman, he wasn't much of a talker, but did a splash of comedy with Louis Gossett in Firewalker. As a Texas Ranger, he got to wear the best cowboy hat. Hey, oh, Chuck Norris, we know you're not really deceased. Oh, Chuck Norris, we know this is just an undercover breed. A mission in heaven awaits you this time. 86 years and still in your prime. Now you've got to work for the Lord. It's the best role you've ever scored. With video rentals, one man would always save the day. He might be missing in action, but he's just keeping bad guys away. As the legend Lone Wolf McQuaid with Chuck in charge, we were safe even when Rostov and Cuban exiles tried to invade in that best canon film Invasion USA. Chuck Norris and his many Uzis kept the Cubans at bay. Oh, Chuck Norris, we know you're not really deceased. Oh, yes, oh, Chuck Norris, we know this is just an undercover breed. A mission in heaven awaits you this time. 86 years and still in your prime. Now you've got to work for the Lord. It's the best role you ever scored. Oh, Chuck Norris, we know you're not really gone. I mean, Chuck Norris. The man upstairs began to wail. He said, Chuck, the Grim Reaper needs a break. I was wondering if his job you'd take. Oh yeah, the Grim Reaper's job he'll take, because Chuck has a great CV in aggravation. He'll just smash that application. Thank you, Chuck Norris. Your movies were a ton of fun. Chuck Norris, you'll always be our number one. Have a drink with on us, because we know when Chuck has a beer, it's the pint glass that gets drunk.